Business Takeout presents The Healthy Entrepreneur with Maxine Choy.
Hello everyone, this is Maxine Choy. Welcome to the Healthy Entrepreneur Show, brought to you by Business Takeout. The experience I've had from doing the Healthy Entrepreneur Show from the beginning to now has been amazing. It has allowed me to meet so many interesting people who've had so many amazing stories about perseverance and challenges, as well as revelations of their own abilities to succumb to and develop new things for themselves. I have been very fortunate enough to have been friends with some of them, and even some of them I've never met before. And I've learned so much, and I'm forever grateful for every single one of the guests who have been on my show. I learned that in life, we all have our struggles. We all have different journeys that we're on, and we have so much in common at the same time. As an entrepreneur, it's not easy. It's by far the most challenging journeys that anyone can even endeavor to try. And when you make that decision, you've decided on something that is going to impact you and your family. So it's a journey, and it's a challenge. It's fulfilling. And I just want to remind you to always put your health first, because it makes the journey more challenging. We are ending this year with a recap video, and these are my top 7 moments for 2021 that we're going to share to let me know your most memorable moment on the Healthy Entrepreneur Show this year. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to YouTube. Let the countdowns begin. Enjoy.
And for me, I've never seen myself being put in a position where I wanted to give up. At that point, it wasn't prevalent at, going. And so I was kept on going. Bearing things and just putting it at the back of my mind, and just making sure that, I could always continue to provide for my mom, I always continue to provide for my brothers, because people are relying on me, right? I was always making sure that I was second nature. Everything else had to get done. I had to get the money. I had to make sure I passed school. I had to make sure I could get a big house for my mom. I had to make sure they could eat.
So what were you suffering from anxiety, depression? Oh, depression.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It just really got a toll on me, where 2016 going into 2017, I decided to really go back into church. I started understanding that I was filling a void that wasn't being taken care of in the way that I needed to. I didn't have the right tools, I didn't have the right resources. And I started doing YouTube and researching what, how to better myself as an individual, how to be able to, get over certain things. And, I started meditating and things like that. So I remember the one point where I just opened the floodgates. I just let all the emotions come out.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
You got me all teared up.
That's okay. That's okay. I'm feeling. I'm not an energy healer or anything like that, but I'm feeling your energy. I feel like I just want to touch you and just say it's okay.
It's okay.
Because when we first connected, there was so much passion in your voice in what you do. And I watched your video, and I was like, this he loves what he does. And and just from hearing your story now, because we haven't even spoken at length about everything. This is all new.
Yes.
So I definitely feel the energy that you're projecting, and I see where this whole thing means something so near and dear to your heart.
So much,
And I appreciate you, being able to share this, and just about what made you do this, right? One of the things I said to you is that most people are willing to give up blame. Most people are not willing to give up the blame,
right?
Because they feel that it's letting the person get away with it.
Yes, this idea of it being hard to forgive people.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I think many of us heard this before, where we're saying, or we come into the realization globally that forgiveness isn't about the other person. Forgiveness is about freeing yourself from the pain and the suffering, right? Mm-hmm. So forgiveness is about freeing yourself from the anger, especially, so you can move on, because those things are just weight. Those things are holding you down. They're preventing you from living your life. So the sooner you can forgive, that person maybe did something intentionally wrong to hurt you, cause you trauma, but the quicker you let that go and you let them go, the better you can live your life and be happy and fulfilled in the way that you want to.
Right.
So a lot of times that can be tough, because that means taking accountability for your life. Sometimes that can be hard. That can be a heavy weight to say, okay, this is all on me. So everything in my life is a decision that I have to be responsible for. And many of us don't want to do that, because it's easier to blame somebody. It's easier to put it on somebody else.
Yeah, for sure.
But really, if we want to be happy, if we want to be fulfilled, that's the only way we got to do it. That's the only way you got to do it.
Right.
But it will not control me. It will not. What I'm striving for is balance more than anything else.
There's something to be said about recognizing that you are supposed to do it, but also recognizing that it's taking over your life, so that you're actually not living your authentic self.
True.
But as a health coach, for me, that's a sign of giving up.
I knew that was coming, Maxine. I knew that was coming, but guess what? You are an expert in that field, and I understand that you have to set and shift the mindsets of your clients.
Absolutely.
And then on my end, from a spiritual standpoint, you may have someone who might come to you, might feel like, oh my God, this is so hard. I can't change the mindset. It's not working for me. But then they may go to a spiritual person, and I say to them, take a different approach.
Right. So, it's almost like encouraging someone to give up on the possibility of getting to that optimal level of health that makes you feel amazing. But at the same time, for your mental and spiritual health, you've decided that I'm not going to let this take over me. I'm going to accept that I'm like,
you got it right. I had chills when you said that, because that's the exact message. You got that right.
Because because mindset plays a huge role in everything that you do, right? Because our minds is very powerful. So I think what's happened is you've got somebody who's like either overweight, let's just say, and they don't feel happy. Once you don't feel happy about your body, you're going to be feeling all kinds of emotions, and not to mention even the physical stuff. You're going to feel very tired, lethargic, unmotivated, all that stuff. But that also affects your mental health, right? So that paradigm is just as bad as the other one, where you're saying, you know what, I'm not gonna, I understand that, but I don't want it in my life. I don't want to work out, because it does have, so they both have an end result, right? And they both.
I think in that moment, because I'm a shifter and a floor, in that moment, I felt how I said, and I felt the way I did, and I communicated authentically, because that's me. What I feel in that moment, I am going to express it 100% as I feel. But what I do know to be absolute truth is that what you resist persists. And what I was doing, I was resisting who I had become. And as a result of resisting who I had become, it was delaying my ability to progress forward. Will I lose weight, Maxine? I probably will.
Yes.
I probably will. And you know why I may lose weight? Because it may simply be a byproduct of self-acceptance, which means you cut yourself some slack. You allow yourself to be one with the experience that you're having. You're not so hard on yourself. You simply just say, this is who I am. Do I want to be better? Absolutely, yes. Right. But what I'm not going to do is resist who I am and where I have become. And that's exactly what I was doing.
So ladies, if you're watching this, Tiffany just said some powerful things right now, right? Because this has a lot to do with self-acceptance, loving our bodies, being mindful of what it's doing to us, right? Because it is a struggle. This has been a really interesting conversation, you talked about did you tell me about your bad experiences or anything that you want to share with us?
Yeah. So when was it now? About 2 years ago, I broke my ankle unexpectedly.
Okay.
And having such a busy lifestyle, and it happened in February. Spring market is about to happen, and I'm laid out on a couch. I literally cannot work. I can't go out. I can't service my clients. And for the first time in my entrepreneur life, I actually had to sit down and not do anything during my work time.
Okay.
And I honestly would say that I went through a depression. I was depressed. I was like, I can't believe this has happened to me. And it was just a simple broken ankle, but it was enough to throw me into depression, and which then allowed me to really take a look at my life. Say, what is it why am I doing what I'm doing? Do I have the right systems and people around me in place? And maybe I need to slow things down a bit. Maybe I'm going a little too fast, because prior to that happening, my wife was telling me that I was going a little too fast. A couple of my friends were like, Gary, you're going to burn yourself out. Take it easy. And that was almost like as if some spiritual intervention said, okay, since you're not going to listen to your wife and your friends, tell you what, I'll jump in here and give you a hand. And it did. And it really allowed me to kind of slow things down, because even up until that point, I was still sometimes working till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh yeah.
Now that's that I don't do that anymore.
Right.
I know my cutoff now. And I think that's really important. So I guess really the moral of the story there is to pay attention to when these certain things happen to you, because life doesn't happen to you. Life happens for you. Exactly.
I think I got that from Steve Harvey as well. And I was about to say that, like, that broken ankle that you experienced was for a reason, because it gave you an opportunity to slow down and think about the pace you were going at and reevaluate your job, or like how you were doing it, right? So every setback is a setup for a comeback.
For sure. It's the best thing. It was one of the best things that's ever happened to me.
That changed my life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously, what made you say you're going to become a personal trainer? I mean, you were doing the opposite.
Running. I was 268 pounds in prison. Started running in 2015. Started losing an incredible amount of weight. People would want to talk to me. I would say, if you want to talk to me, you got to run some laps with me, because that's all I would do. I would go out to the yard and I'd run. So there used to be a whole bunch of us running. I started a running group, and then that's when the guys that I was in with encouraged me. They're like, hey, like, this is your calling. Like, this is something you should do. Because I'm someone that when I like something, I immerse myself in. So I had all the Running World magazines. I got all the brand new shoes. I was wearing compression socks. Like, I was right into it, carbing up the day before my long run. So these guys just encouraged me, and it just kind of put a light bulb, and I'm like, you know what? This is my way out.
Yes.
And I was always like, I didn't want to be like, and no disrespect to people who are, they have the labor jobs and the construction jobs. With me, honestly, I didn't want to go out and, be the typical guy that comes out of prison and works in construction. I wanted to do something I love. And, when I look at personal training, when I look at what I do at the gym, it's not even a job. 80% of my day is doing what I love.
Absolutely. And that's the best thing. That's the best, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs go through that when we think about changing the direction in which we want to go. And sometimes it's because we want some stability and some security in our jobs. And then when you go and try it, you realize, this is not for me. I'm not happy. You got to wake up every day and feel happy, or feel alive and feel that you want to do it, right?
Yeah, the people I feel like it's kind of like selling your soul in a little for money,
Yes.
Because you lose when you're in a situation or a job you don't like. You are losing like a little bit of your soul, little by little. It's like sucking the life out of you, right? Why would you do that?
For sure.
because all our journeys are so different, you know, just as everyone, we all go through different things, and sometimes we don't always say what we're going through. We all face our own batch of depression and PTSD and things like that. It takes years sometime before you can come to yourself, you know. If you choose to live and you choose to thrive despite what has happened to you, there is a unlearning that you must go through. There's some isolation you must walk through.
Yes.
There's some dark, quiet, lonely moments, regardless of how many people you have around you. Only you walk through that.
Yeah.
And that is what my siblings and I have gone through over the years. Just with everything, we've had to separate and heal because it was the only way to do it. Because my healing could never have been enough for my sister or my brothers. They had to walk through their own journey.
Yes, of course.
So when we stand together in that image, it's powerful, and it means it's so deep to me, because after and not that we're done healing, we're still healing. We all heal every
Differently.
day.
Yeah.
Differently too. And so when we finally come together and we can just be amongst each other and accept each person for who they are and what they have walked through, it's beautiful, because you don't ever have to understand somebody's healing.
No.
You don't have to get it. You
don't have to
you don't
get it.
ever have to walk through the same journey, but when you can stand together and know that this is a powerful moment, it was worth taking a picture of. It really was.
But I don't know.
So narcs, it can be male or female.
For sure.
I actually interviewed a male on my IGTV who shared his story about being married to a narcissistic woman. And unfortunately, it's almost like society's views will be that there are more men out here that are narcissistic, because as women, we are more vocal about our experiences in relationships. But the men aren't being as vocal. They will either just leave the relationship and be like, you know, that girl, whatever. But I've spoken to so many men that are hurt and heartbroken and still devastated and afraid to trust and afraid to love and be vulnerable, because they had past relationships with narcissistic women and didn't realize the damage that was done there. I've spoken to men that know other men that committed suicide because they were in a toxic relationship with a woman that either, you know, tried to destroy their character or made them, you know, look or feel a certain way, and they couldn't handle it. But as society, we don't address men's emotional needs the same way that we do with women. So it's more passive to be like, you know, labeling the men as narcissists.
That's and I wanted to say that because we don't hear that. We don't hear of that, and I never want to leave the men out, and hence why I have that group, Bellas and Fellas. But I think even amongst men, I wonder if they even discuss that or you know, between themselves. Because I think if a man, well, let's just assume that the average man who may have a relationship with a woman who was like that, he would just probably chalk it off as, she's a bitch or she's crazy, right? That's without realizing that it was narc abuse.
Yeah, I did a series of different IGTV interviews with people on the same topic, and I've done a couple on the podcast, but I've had so many men reach out to me privately asking questions because they are severely emotionally hurt and they don't want to show them the outside. And, you know, men show emotion differently. So people will say that this guy is, you know, he's angry, he's weird, he's whatever, because the way that he chose to deal with his emotions. But they will open up about their experience and they're like, everything that you said, that was her, that's what she did. So it's almost like they're now having these aha moments that, oh my goodness, I was in a relationship with someone who was completely narcissistic. And not like narcissistic personality disorder, it's in the same category as sociopaths. So
I will have a lot of people that say to me, well, how could they do this? Like, I don't understand. No, you're not going to understand, because they are the ones that are crazy. And if you understand, then you might be leading down that path. Like, it's, you are not going to understand why they do the things that they do, because that's not your character. That's not who you are.
If you enjoy our programming and want to help support Black entrepreneurship, please donate today. www.businesstakeout.com